Stop excusing your inner reality. Seriously, cut it out. For years, you've convinced yourself you're overly sensitive, too intense, or just analyzing things too much. But what if the very trait you fought to suppress is your most crucial evolutionary advantage? A major shift is occurring now. You can feel it, right? It's that subtle buzz in the atmosphere, the sudden distaste for trivial chatter, the sense that the script you've lived by your whole life no longer applies. This isn't a meltdown. As the renowned Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung would put it, this marks the beginning of individuation. This is the process where you cease being a mere copy of the group and start becoming authentic. Especially for people who are empaths, this isn't just a mental adjustment. It's a total energetic overhaul. You're not losing your mind. You're attaining awareness. And the first thing that dissolves? The mask you manufactured for survival. This is the actual appearance of that transformation, and the reasons why it's the finest thing that could ever happen to you. No patience for fakeness. To begin, you've likely noticed that your capacity for insincere behavior has plummeted to zero. Do you remember being able to tolerate a dinner party, nod politely during dull discussions, and pretend to care about the weather forecast? Those days are over. Presently, while waiting in the line at the grocery store, you don't merely observe a cashier, you perceive their deep exhaustion radiating from them like heat waves. When a friend asks, "How's it going?" and expects a simple reply like, "Fine," you're physically unable to offer it. The feeling is analogous to wearing a heavy wool coat on a scorching beach. Scratchy, uncomfortable, and fundamentally wrong. This doesn't mean you're becoming difficult. As an empathetic person, your intrinsic system is calibrated for depth. When you encounter superficial interactions, your soul naturally recoils because it distinguishes between genuine connection and a hollow performance. You are seeking what is truthful, unembellished, and direct. If it lacks vitality, you have no further interest. Undaunted, however, this is where things get complex. Accompanying this deep need for honesty comes a flood of feelings you may have previously labeled negative. Intense rage, envy, profound sadness. Society routinely instructs us to repress these emotions. Good people don't get angry, is the typical rule. Yet Jung offered a different viewpoint. He termed this the shadow. Imagine it as a hollow beach ball you've consistently attempted to hold under the water. The harder you force it down, the greater force it gathers back up at you. For those with empathic sensibilities, engaging with the shadow is vital. That intense resentment you're experiencing, it's not a defect, it signals a boundary that was violated. That sensation of jealousy, it serves as a navigational map pointing toward an ambition you haven't allowed yourself to chase. When you stop fighting these feelings and extend them an invitation for dialogue, they lose their power to control you. As Jung famously stated, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. All right, let's now consider the sensation of emotional discomfort. The tightness constricting your chest, or that sudden heaviness that descends unexpectedly. It's effortless to reach for a distraction, scrolling aimlessly through social media for a couple of hours, or watching countless episodes of a program you've already viewed simply to emotionally check out. Nevertheless, consider this. What if that particular feeling is actually operating as a trouble warning indicator? When a light illuminates on your vehicle's dashboard, you don't forcefully strike the dash with a hammer to compel it to turn off. You inspect the mechanism beneath the hood. Emotional suffering operates identically. It's your intuition signaling, "Caution, we are heading in the wrong direction." Maybe it's a career position that drains your essential spirit, or a relationship where you are the sole person performing the difficult upkeep. The pain isn't present to punish you. It exists to cause you to reorient your course. This naturally guides us to the stage that generates the most apprehension for people: solitude. You might glance at your phone, observe a lack of notifications, and experience a sharp sensation of loneliness. You may wonder why you are abruptly allocating Friday nights to solitary endeavors while everyone else is socializing. Here is the essential perceptual adjustment. A caterpillar does not transform into a butterfly in the center of a crowded gathering. It undergoes liquefaction within a cocoon in total isolation. For the empathetic person, time alone is not a forced punishment. It functions as a recharge facility. The external world is loud. It is saturated with emotional static. When you retreat, you are not engaging in evasion. You are purging your internal system. You are separating your personal feelings from the emotional discord you acquired from the surrounding populace throughout the day. If you find yourself in this phase, resist the urge to immediately occupy the quiet. That stillness is precisely where your nascent wings are developing. Now, let's go to the final step that belies all inner peace: letting go of the fixer role. Now, we must address the capacity you have probably adopted for many years: the unpaid counselor. You are familiar with the scenario. You are perceived as the sturdy one, the individual others call when their existence is undergoing turmoil. You attend, you resolve, you absorb their stress, and then you conclude the connection and feel depleted while they proceed feeling significantly better. This represents the dissolution of the self segment of the process. The identity of the benefactor is disintegrating. And this is frightening because you begin to question, if I cease rectifying everyone's problems, will they continue to care for me? The difficult truth? Certain people will not. When you stop serving a function for people who only assess your value based on what you contribute, they will gradually disappear. And you must permit their departure. You are submitting your formal resignation as the emotional guardian of your social circle. The authentic self, the one existing beneath the mask of the helper, possesses inherent worth simply due to your being, not because of the burdens you can bear for the benefit of others. The high cost of integrity. Implementing these changes is not without consequence. In point of fact, it demands a significant fee. It costs you the security of the recognizable. It costs you relationships that were established upon your passive compliance. Imagine you've been adjusting yourself to a particular broadcasting frequency, let's call it channel please, exclusively so others can enjoy the sonic entertainment they favor. Nevertheless, you are now transmitting on your own distinct wave frequency. Predictably, the individuals who solely preferred the previous station are going to cease listening. This is not a drawback. It functions as a comprehensive, filtering process. You are creating space for individuals who can interact with you at this newly attained vibration. You are exchanging broad acceptance for personal peacefulness. And as any enlightened empath will confirm, that is a bargain you readily embrace on every single day of the week. The unusual events. As you divest yourself of these layers, an unusual phenomenon commences. You contemplate a specific melody, and it begins to play on the audio system. You experience an instinctual prompting to contact a friend, and they reply, "I was just thinking about you." You enter a location and instantly possess the knowledge of whom to confide in and whom to keep away from prior to a single syllable being exchanged. You are not losing your mental balance. You are finally connected. Your intuitive capacity is no longer impeded by self-doubt and the convictions of others. This is the outcome when the interference disappears. You commence observing the complex network of interconnections that has been present all along. Place your confidence in this. It constitutes your novel guidance system. The definitive realization. Therefore, if you have the sensation that your existence is collapsing, take a deliberate, deep inhalation. It is not. It is merely settling into proper placement. You are not a flawed individual striving to correct yourself. You are a spirit reclaiming the remembrance of your identity before the external world dictated who you ought to be. The perplexity, the isolation, the profound intensity, these are merely indicators that the transformation is progressing successfully. You are evolving from a permeable entity that absorbs everything into a guiding light that maintains unwavering stability. If this corresponds with your personal experience, kindly do me a favor. Leave a remark below stating, "I am not lost, I am evolving." This is a powerful declaration to express. And if you possess an empathetic friend who believes they are experiencing a psychological crisis, share this with them. Reassure them that they are merely undergoing a breakthrough. If you are prepared to stop diminishing your stature and begin ascending, consider partnering with us by subscribing. The world no longer requires you to conform. It requires you to genuinely be yourself. I bid you welcome to your profound realization.